For centuries, Saturn's rings have fascinated astronomers and dreamers alike. First observed through Galileo's telescope in 1610, these shimmering bands of ice and rock seem like cosmic jewelry. But what if those beautiful rings were more than just frozen debris? What if they held secrets about the origins of our solar system, or something far more mysterious? In recent years, NASA's Cassini spacecraft made multiple passes through Saturn's rings. The data it collected didn't just confirm what we thought we knew, it upended it. Today, we journey into the gaps between those rings to explore what NASA discovered and why it shocked the scientific community. Before Cassini, scientists believed Saturn's rings were formed relatively recently, possibly from a shattered moon or comet. The rings themselves span over 280,000 kilometers, yet are only about 10 meters thick. That thinness has long puzzled astronomers. Were they old or young, stable or decaying? Early missions like Voyager gave us hints, but it was Cassini that gave us access. Cassini didn't just fly by, it orbited Saturn for 13 years. During its final mission phase, the grand finale, Cassini plunged between the rings and Saturn's upper atmosphere, and the revelations began. Cassini's instruments scanned the particles and gases in unprecedented detail. Scientists expected mostly ice and dust. What they found instead was complex. They discovered organic molecules in the ring material, tiny fragments of silicates, common in rock, radiation signatures that implied chemical processes at work. Even more shocking, material from the rings was falling into Saturn's atmosphere. That means Saturn is slowly consuming its own rings. What was thought to be stable turned out to be temporary. Within 100 million years, the rings could be gone. But it was the composition that stunned scientists the most. The presence of organic material hinted at a more dynamic system, perhaps involving past moons, collisions, or even microbial precursors. NASA confirmed that Saturn's rings are literally raining down into the planet. Using Cassini's ion and neutral mass spectrometer, INMS, scientists measured icy ring particles falling into Saturn at a rate of 10 tons per second. This rain contains water, methane, ammonia, and something more, carbon-rich molecules. Why does that matter? Because the ingredients for life often start with carbon. These weren't complex life forms, but they hinted at a past that may have involved organic chemistry at an unexpected scale. Even more oddly, these molecules seem to be processed, altered in some way. Was Saturn altering this material in its upper atmosphere? Or had the material come from something already complex, perhaps from an ancient moon? Some researchers now believe that Saturn's rings may be the shattered remains of a once larger moon, one that harbored liquid water and possibly even primitive life. The theory goes like this. A moon similar in size to Enceladus may have once orbited Saturn. Tidal forces grew unstable. The moon passed too close. Saturn's gravity tore it apart. The water vapor, ice, and minerals became the rings. And inside that moon, possibly a subsurface ocean, possibly heat, possibly chemistry. If true, the rings are not just debris. They are a memorial, a frozen graveyard of a world that might have once been alive. Beyond their beauty and mystery, Saturn's rings have now become a kind of laboratory, a way to observe physics, chemistry, and cosmic evolution in real time. We can now study how moons form and disintegrate, observe how planetary atmospheres absorb foreign material, watch organic molecules evolve in extreme environments. It's like having a natural particle accelerator orbiting a gas giant, and it forces us to reconsider what counts as alive or dead in space. When particles interact, when chemistry evolves, is that a kind of living system? The discoveries inside Saturn's rings don't just rewrite what we know about the planet. They reframe our understanding of how planetary systems live and die. They suggest that destruction and creation are intertwined, that moons become rings and rings become rain, and perhaps rain becomes atmosphere. It blurs the line between what is permanent and what is passing. It also reminds us how little time we may have to observe these wonders. In cosmic terms, Saturn's rings are temporary. They came into being, and they will vanish. We just happened to be alive when they were at their peak. In the end, what NASA found inside Saturn's rings wasn't just dust and ice. They found movement. They found history. They found decay and renewal. And maybe they found a mirror. Because like those rings, our own time here is brief, fleeting, yet profoundly beautiful. So we look up not just to observe, but to remember. The universe is always changing, and in that change, we find meaning. Saturn's rings are not just a cosmic wonder. They are a lesson, echoing across space to our own pale blue dot. They remind us that nothing in the universe is forever, not even the most majestic sights. Just like the rings, Earth's systems are fragile, intricate, and vulnerable to time and change. What happens when balance is disturbed? What legacies do we leave behind? Studying Saturn's rings teaches us to think on a grand scale, but also to reflect deeply inward, to ask what remnants we might one day leave for others to find. What signs of life, of wisdom, of care? In the crumbling edges of ice and rock circling a gas giant, we find both a warning and an invitation to observe, to learn, and to preserve what matters most. As we continue analyzing Cassini's data, more questions are emerging. Could there be denser pockets of ring material that escape detection? Might tiny, undiscovered moons still be hiding within the rings, shaping them with gravitational force? Are we witnessing the early stages of a new moon forming? These possibilities aren't just speculative. Cassini detected unusual anomalies, subtle wave patterns and disruptions that couldn't be fully explained. It suggests there is still more to learn, that Saturn's rings are not a static archive, but a living system, changing, adapting, concealing. And maybe, just maybe, there's something hidden still, something that will take future missions to uncover. As Saturn continues to slowly consume its rings, we are left with a powerful reminder. The cosmos is not a museum of frozen time. It's alive with cycles of birth, transformation, and loss. Cassini gave us a gift not just of data, but of perspective. It showed us that even in the coldest reaches of our solar system, drama unfolds, mysteries persist, and beauty thrives. So the next time you look at Saturn through a telescope, remember this. You are not just seeing rings. You are seeing remnants of a story billions of years in the making. And perhaps in that story, we find echoes of our own.